Mercury was out surfing with 5 mates and was the first to spot the shark, and he was corralling them, his mates, together for safety when that shark, believed to be about 5 metres long, came from behind and took him. It's the first fatal shark attack at Dee Why in 91 years. Now, there was meant to be a trial of shark net-free beaches this summer, but in light of this attack, New South Wales Premier Chris Minns announced this morning that the trial would be put on ice. Here he was on Sky News with Andrew Clennell.
I want to make sure we understand what happened with this fatal attack, and I'm not going to make a decision before a report is back from Primary Industries. This is a terrible event. It's quite rare in Sydney. This is the first or the second fatal shark attack in 60 years. So it's not a common occurrence, but it does occur. Obviously, it's the Pacific Ocean. I want to make sure we get that report back before we make a final decision.
Now, this was actually a netted beach where this occurred, so the Premier is saying, look, before we make any changes about shark nets, we need to take a broader look at everything that is going on here. Do you think it was the right decision, Jaimee, to put a pause on this trial of net-free beaches in light of this attack?
I actually don't, Caleb, and we've spoken about this previously on the program, and I am an ocean swimmer, so I'm out there in amongst the marine life. And as I've said before, and obviously what's happened yesterday was a huge tragedy, and my heart goes out to the family, and in particular for the daughter waking up without her dad on Father's Day. But I think we need to take the emotion out of this decision, because shark nets, we've seen this. They are 150 metres long, they're 6 metres deep, and sharks still swim around them. They are not stopping the shark attacks like what they were originally designed to do. What they are doing is destroying a lot of marine life. So within those shark nets, there's dolphins, there's whales, there's turtles, but you hardly see sharks. So what they do is bring the sharks in, because the sharks take a big bite out of, when you see a dolphin carcass with a big bite out of it. So I think in 2025 we need to be using more modern technology like the drones and those drum lines that do work quite well out in the eastern suburbs. So whilst my heart is going out to that family, I think we do need to take the emotion out of it and continue with the trial of removing the shark nets.
I guess the counterpoint to that, Joe, would be that the last time there was an attack at this beach, which is a netted beach, was 1934.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I absolutely appreciate everything Jaimee is saying. I know the rational argument's backwards, but I am absolutely scared witless of sharks. I saw Jaws, and I am here to put all the irrationality and the emotion back into the debate.
You've got 1 in a million chance of getting.
I understand that, and people say, you know, you've got more likely to be killed by bees, or more likely to be killed,
or a coconut falling on your head,
falling on your head, or a cow falling on you. But not when you're swimming in the ocean. You're not going to get bitten by a bee or sat on by a cow or hit in the head with a coconut when you're out there. And I think that is why there is such a visceral fear for it. And I think the sort of placebo effect of shark nets and netted beaches, if nothing else, is important. I understand that, you know, people seem to think, oh, it's all enclosed off and sharks can't get through. You're absolutely right. That is not true. But what it is meant to do is to sort of disrupt sharks' hunting patterns. And so they can't just sort of come and go willy-nilly. So, yes, if they really wanted to, like in Jaws, which I'm led to believe is not the documentary I thought it was, they could get through. But it just gives them a disincentive to be there.
But they do get through, and that's when they get caught when they're swimming back out.
I've heard that argument as well. The other thing is, I think even though Dee Why is netted, I think Long Reef is not. Yeah. And I think this incident took place halfway between those two spots. But again, I wrote an editorial about this yesterday for today's paper, and you know, the last thing I want is for this poor man's death to be a sort of political football in this debate. But I do think that if you just think about, Sydney can point, until a couple of years ago, Sydney could say there had not been a single death at a netted beach since 1963, right? Mm-hmm. Then there was one in 2022, that was a freak accident, and then we've had this one, which may or may not have been shark nets involved. And I just think the peace of mind that nets give, and I'm sorry about all the dolphins, and I'm sorry about all the turtles.
Well, I'm not terribly sorry about the dolphins.
But the peace of mind they give,
the turtles, mate.
What happens the next time there's a fatal shark attack at Bondi Beach?
Correct.
You know, what does that do to our tourism industry? What does that do to, you know, the public confidence to be able to go over it?
A couple of points I want to make. And up until probably, I don't know, a good few years ago, I probably would have agreed entirely with you, Jaimee, because I've always thought, OK, we always enter the ocean at our own risk, completely aware of the fact that we in Australia have been exposed to shark attacks and, albeit rare, can happen. But then at the same time, I sort of think, well, where do we start to place emphasis? Do we value marine life over human life or vice versa? In this particular scenario, and I heard it on Danica and James's show earlier, that the net actually captured 24 sharks. So we can sit here and say, well, OK, this shark managed to evade it, but the other 24 sharks, what if they actually made it through and were able to get a hold of another surfer or a family that was swimming in the ocean completely unaware? So I think that the decision to pause this is the right one. And I truly believe that when you have organisations like Humane World for Animals coming in and weighing in on this subject and saying, well, we completely agree with the three councils' decisions to pull the nets, are they fully aware of what the potential repercussions are and what the consequences are? Or are they just thinking through a very narrow lens of, oh, it's all about the marine life? Well, you don't have to be so callous, but for goodness sake, where are we putting the emphasis? Marine life or human life?
It's an ideological thing that, you know, the animals are on top, even though we're actually on top. But my concern, Kel, is that because this is a netted beach, you're going to have the anti-net people saying, oh, well, this is proof that it doesn't work. We've got to get rid of all the nets. No. So you open up the floodgates. Well, if you want to see more people die in shark attacks, it seems like a pretty good way to do it.
It does. And people keep saying, not many people die. The point is, people die.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how many. Every single individual human life matters.
And nothing is foolproof.
No. Well, I've got a better idea. You can get rid of the drum lines and you can get rid of the nets and you just start shooting sharks. We do a nice big cull of sharks. We have these so-called experts.
They tried that in Western Australia 10 years ago. It proved controversial.
They're not kangaroos.
They are tasty. They are tasty.
They're not in. We don't know for certain they're endangered. I started reading up this afternoon, and the experts can't agree because great sharks roam over such a huge area, and it's impossible to know their numbers and whether they're going up or going down. A great shark lives 70 years. An adult female great shark gives birth every second year to about 10 other sharks. So the idea that somehow these people are more endangered than we... Sorry, not these people, these animals.
You're buying into the activist
It's just rubbish. This is great white sharks. They said, oh, it's just curiosity. They just... But a test bite from a mouth as big as that with 300 razor-sharp teeth in 3 rows kills a person.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
Yeah.
So... because we care for people, we start culling sharks close to the shore.
And the technology isn't foul-proof either because they still, via the means of drones and helicopters, have not been able to track down this shark that killed this man. So, I don't know.
And this is the thing, nothing is foolproof. I think shark nets on the whole do a pretty good job. Every now and again there is going to be a failure. We shouldn't be throwing the baby out with the bathwater.